If you want an idea of what's coming up next in this week in AUDUSD, then watch this video. We're gonna go over a few points that definitely need to be looked at, and then where we currently are based off of last week. Each one of these lines that we're seeing, these vertical lines, is the start of a week and the end of a week. So last week, what we saw was this chart was actually in a consolidation range, and then it pushed up to a high zone. We've actually pushed up to a zone that we haven't been in weeks, even actually almost a year's time. So the only way to really see where we're currently at right now is for us to go back into history and see the levels that have happened. So what I did was I went back into the history and seen, okay, when was the last time we were actually at this point, which was September 2024. So that was a whole almost year and a half ago. If you see where this chart ended at for this previous week, it actually ended at this high point. So at this shoulder, and then a head, and then a shoulder. So if you look, I would consider this a resistance. Why? Because it pushed up to this point, retested back down to this green box, which you'll see that I've seen, that I drew out. It pushed back up to that point, retested again, pushed through, created a highest high, and then broke down. It retested that once again, this resistance line, and then pushed down to these zones. So when I'm looking at that, what I'm seeing is this is being used as a resistance, and then it pushed down all the way down to these lower levels, and then it kind of just stayed down below that. The chart just pushed back up to this level. We're going to use that as resistance. Where we're at now is literally, if you look at this, at this resistance level that we just saw, that had been used multiple times right there all the way back in 2024. Because literally in the past year, we have not been at this point. The past year and a half, we have not been at this point. This was the last time we was at this point. If you look before that, this has literally been used as a resistance point many times. So here, back in June 2023, July 2023, December 2023, and it didn't even reach that point. And then also here, when it got to these higher levels, it was also used as a resistance point here too. So if you look at it on a grand level, on a grand scheme of things, we're actually reaching points that we haven't been at in years. And now we have an opportunity to use these points that have been used back in the past recent years as levels. So what I'm using right now currently is this as a resistance point. The highest high that we have right now, the target point, the highest point that we want to see it go to and respect is this head level, which is 0.69, basically 400, 0.694. And then the current level that we're at is basically 0.69, which is the highest level that we want to see it really go to, or that it's at right now currently, and for it to respect. So last week we did see a bullish rally. We did have really good news in AUD/USD. Also, the news for the US dollar wasn't as great. So that's what pushed the AUD currency up as well. And then, as you can see, I have this green box that says support retest level. So if you look over here for the retest level that I was talking about, why I consider that as a support, which it really had already been used as a resistance level, where the market came up from this level way down here, 0.63, and then pushed up to this level, worked its way up to this level. The market's always going to tell stories. Pushed here and then pushed right back down to 163 again, 1635, and then pushed right back up to that level again. Use that as a resistance once more. So this is really a strong resistance level, but then once it broke through, it got used as a support level as well. So what I'm seeing this being is a lot of liquidity happens right here at this level at 0.68. Even if you look back, you probably see more levels where it's been used. So 0.68 right here had been used right at this level right here, where it retested to. 0.68 had been used right here at this level, right here at this level right here, and this level. So it's really a strong resistance level. But what we're trying to do, and what we're going to look for, is to use it as a support, just a retest zone. So it's really a resistance level, but we're going to use it as a support in a retest zone. And then the other things I've drawn out to give us more confluence and an idea of where we're actually going towards is if it breaks through this resistance, which it may do early in the week, it may push up to this level right here, this highest high. which is, like we said, 0.694. If it goes to 0.67, then I think we're going to see a pullback from that level, and then have it come down a little bit more. But right now where we're at is a great resistance point. If it does push up to these highest highs, then it'll hit this level at 0.694, and then we'll want to see it bounce back down realistically. Now it may do opposite and just keep pushing through, but what we drew as of right now is a Fibonacci tool that pushes down to these levels right here. So as you can see, that this retest zone that we have is within the 0.6382 level. And then I also drew out a trend line that you'll see on the 1 hour, not a trend line, it was basically a support level. And this point right here, so I'm gonna hide this Fibonacci tool, and as you can see, this point that we have right here that we drew out is literally at the 0.618. So this zone right here, where this initial news, this was the actual AUD news last week on Thursday that came out at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it pushed up from that level, and then Friday and the remainder of Thursday literally just shot up into this 0.69 level. So as you can see, what I drew out was this is the deepest level of retest that we want to see this go to. I genuinely don't even believe it's going to go down that low. Now I could see it going to this green box, number one, and then as we just saw on the Fibonacci tool, it came here into the 0.65 came here into this level. So we have one more week in January. What I believe we could see this week in January is the monthly starting to close a little bit more to the downside, and then for it to give a retest of this initial bullish movement, and then kind of bring it down a little bit. It might not even do a deep retest, but I do think it's going to retest and gather a little bit more liquidity to push to the higher side, and then for it to make moves around these levels. So for it to make moves around these levels, like this is the deepest retest that we could see. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that line too, and then we're going to look on the Fibonacci. So basically the deepest retest we would see is the 0.618. That would make sense. If it really comes all the way back down here to 0.67225, honestly, at that point, we really just want to say, okay, at this point, what is the trend trying to show us? But right here is the deepest retest I think we'll see. The 0.5 level on the Fibonacci tool, I think that's the sweet zone. Why? Because there was a gap here, an imbalance that was left here. That's definitely the sweet zone. And then it easily could push up off of this 0.6382, which is the support level that we saw that had been used as a resistance a lot. So for me, what I would do at this point of this is draw out this imbalance that I'm seeing here. There is an imbalance zone that is currently right here. So an imbalance that has been left here, and that's really the 0.5 level Fibonacci, which the 0.5 on the Fib level is that's really the sweet spot that a lot of people like to look for. And then this is the 0.3 level, 0.336 level on the Fib, and this is our support level that had been used as a resistance on many occasions. So we'd really like to see it, if it goes past that support level, then reach this 0.5 Fib level, and then push up off of that to continue its yearly move. And this literally might happen throughout the next few weeks for it to bounce back down, retest, or this week to end the month, it's just going to literally just keep its momentum, keep pushing to the high side. If it does push through this level, the highest side that I would like it to see, it go to is 0.694. Definitely not past 0.67. If it does hit, really go into 0.7. If it does go to 0.7, then we definitely need to keep our eyes open for a pullback from that level, because that level is going to trigger a lot of the buyers to get out and a lot of the sellers to get in. So I think we will see selling pressure at that point for sure. But as we said, looking at the higher sides, if you go back, then you definitely can see where it has respected this shoulder level, and then the highest levels right there. Now to get this pullback to this level, that's what I believe we'll see within the next few weeks. So we'll definitely be following the chart throughout the next few weeks to understand exactly what's going on in the markets. If you look at the other videos I did have out, we did literally see these moves forming. This is actually the trend line that we saw. We saw it push down to this major support level and then push up from that level, retesting this level. Literally go look at our last about 8 videos and or the shorts that I have on my YouTube, and just look, like literally we're following this chart exactly what it's doing. There are a few videos that I haven't got to get out so far, but we have been following this chart to where it's at. So I think the next move that we're going to see is for this to pull back to either this support level, and we call this the retest level. Why? Because it would just be a retest of the current move that just happened, or a pullback to this 0.5 level was used on the fib, and we do have an imbalance right here that happened from the Australian news that came out. So for me, I'm really gonna be preparing for a sell side. It would be a retest. It wouldn't be the actual move. I think that overall, how this year's opening up and how the economy's forming, the worldly economy's forming, that the move is going to be more on the bullish side for AUD as of right now, because the US dollar is kind of weakening. That's why you're seeing gold and all these different things push up. So it is bullish overall. We're going to keep that bias, but I think the next move that's happening, the literal current next move that is happening, is a pullback from this level, or if for it to reach this highest level at 0.695, 0.694, and then for it to pull back from that level into a deep retest. I think we're looking for a deep retest, which is going to give a deep discount to then get in for a buy for the next 2 to 3 months that's going to happen this year. So that's the overall sentiment of the market. Those are the moves that's happened. Hopefully this makes sense. If you did watch this whole video, subscribe, like. We're going to be following this. Just contact me. You can literally just hit me in the comments or direct message me, and we can literally work on this together. Outside of that, Ace Trading Academy is for building trading skills. I like to show the skill set that we do use. The main thing is execution upon those skills, and that's the one thing that we will work on going forward. So I hope you all have a great trading week. Literally stick with us, stick with the charts, stay consistent, stay disciplined, stay patient, and to more blessings. Let's go.